All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be getting into the Week 17 cash plays. Starting out at quarterback, this really hasn't changed from the core plays video. Still looking at Justin Fields or Jared Goff. You will see when I do the FanDuel section, which I will be doing in this video, that there is another quarterback that I will be considering. But I do really like Jared Goff. One, it's going to be a game in which we don't have to worry about the weather at all. Going to be indoors, and then it's also going to be against Chicago. Okay, now, yes, the last time Jared Goff faced Chicago, he only had 14.8 DK points, which honestly, like, sure, I would take that as a floor. We really want the upside game that he's had throughout the last 4 games, so where we're getting 20 DK points or so. And the only bad game he had was against the Jets, who we know the Jets are a team in which you don't want to be targeting quarterbacks against, which for the Chicago Bears, they're obviously a defense that you want to be targeting quarterbacks against. So Jared Goff is going to be a play that I really like on this slate. Now, moving on into the running back situation, it is difficult in the sense that we have some really great running back plays to the point where if we just kind of choose correctly or incorrectly, that's going to really hurt us. And I say it like that because, like, yes, we're going to be on the right running back plays, but they don't always work out. And so those running backs are going to be CMC, especially in this matchup against the Raiders that are now starting a backup, probably a practice squad level quarterback with Jared Stidham. CMC just makes a lot of sense because he's going to be on the field a lot, should be able to score a couple of touchdowns, and obviously that's a great matchup. I do think we want to be playing CMC, but we also get Saquon Barkley going against Indy. Saquon Barkley on the field for 90% of the snaps, getting over 20 opportunities per game, and getting a lot of usage in the passing game. He is someone that we firmly want to be playing as well. Then we got James Conner also playing 90% of the snaps. He's currently questionable. If he sits, then we don't have to worry about that. We also could look at Stevenson in a good matchup going against Miami. He also played 90% of the snaps. Didn't really have a good game, but I expect him to have a much better game this week, and his price is now down. Like, he is very interesting. And then we also have Travis Etienne going against Houston, which Travis Etienne playing about 75% of the snaps, getting 20 opportunities per game over the last 2 games. That's highly intriguing. Gets a great matchup. He is someone that's going to be difficult to pass up on. And then also we have Cam Akers in a great matchup going against the Chargers. Cam Akers has been playing about 75% of the snaps as well. Got over 20 opportunities in the last game as well. So he is someone we could be looking at. And then for the receivers, it's pretty simple. We got Keenan Allen, we got Chris Godwin on the slate. Going to just be playing those two. That's as simple as that. And then also Greg Dortch, just given the price point of him, I think we can trust the snaps. I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on that? I think they just were like, all right, let's give Greg Dortch some more snaps. He's kind of earned because every time he touches the field, he looks good. And honestly, they need to get him the ball more. So 11 targets last game. I will take the risk of him maybe not playing 30 or maybe not playing 70% of the snaps, maybe only playing 30% of the snaps, because if he does, we know that this is just such a cheap price tag. If he does play 70% of the snaps, he should be someone that is like almost 5K. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play Greg Dortch. Gets a great matchup going against Atlanta as well. Tight end wise, Kylan Granson looks like he's going to be sitting. So yes, we're just going with Jelani Woods, just a cheap price tag for someone that should be able to go out and produce. And then defensively, we don't have enough, okay, and which is unfortunate. So this is where we would have to make a slight adjustment, and this is where I don't like it because, like, I don't really want to go off of Jared Goff, okay? I don't really want to do that. CMC you could go down from. Okay, Saquon, you could potentially go down from. And I've kind of ended up doing that, and I don't love it. Just going down from one of those and keeping Travis Etienne. So let's just say we go down from maybe CMC, and then we can go to Stevenson. Like, that's fine. And then we have a lot of salary left over for defense. The defense I want to play, though, I think is going to be the Niners. One, they already average a bunch of points, okay? And now they get a matchup against Jared Stidham, which should mean that they're going to feast. So I really like that. And obviously what I don't like would be that I'm playing the Niners defense, and I would much rather be able to fit CMC into this build. You know what I'm saying? So I wish we could make that work. Now I'm going to go ahead and flip and get into FanDuel. So FanDuel, this is kind of what I'm looking at. I don't love it, and I do want to point out something like the Niners defense is the highest priced defense on this slate. So just looking at right now, guys, I don't hate the idea of going with Stidham on FanDuel, okay? Trying to capture the rushing upside. He should, in theory, if he's starting, in theory, he should rush the ball 15 times. Like, honestly, like, he is a terrible thrower. I don't love that, but that does allow me to fit a lot of the studs in on this slate. I find FanDuel more difficult this week is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Now, let's say, like, you don't want to do that. You feel like it's too risky. I'm fine with that. Let's go. That's okay. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do the same thing. Maybe we try to pay up for Justin Fields instead. Just gets that great matchup against Detroit. Like, we obviously love that matchup. And then you do still have a decent amount of salary left over. Okay. If Aaron Jones were to sit, then you could go AJ Dillon and feel pretty good about it. Okay. Obviously, AJ Dillon gets a little bit more of a bump on FanDuel where PPR is not as, or receptions are not as needed. David Montgomery I'd be fine with as well. I would say someone like Brian Robinson in a good matchup against Cleveland, much more appealing on FanDuel, where he's going to get maybe, let's just say 18 rushing attempts, much more appealing there. And then flex-wise, I do want to point out as well that, we could potentially just go Christian Watson in that great matchup against Minnesota. You could potentially fit in DK Metcalf as well, who should be a safe play, but also kind of worry about his upside with that matchup against the Jets. Maybe you try to pay down a defense. Let's see if we can save a little bit of salary. Just go minimum defense. And then we have a little bit more salary. If James Conner plays, then you can easily roll with him as well. So I do like DraftKings a little bit more than FanDuel is the summary this week. But I thought there was a big enough difference between DraftKings and FanDuel this week to the point where I wanted to show you guys two separate builds. That doesn't always happen. Typically the pricing is pretty equivalent. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to continue to put out more content for you guys. Let's have a good slate and let's end the regular season off on a great note, guys. I guess we have one more week, but fantasy football playoffs and whatnot. And actually, I'm looking forward to next week because that is typically the biggest reward week other than the preseason. Okay, because while we're still playing, we're still doing all the same stuff, same research, and a lot of people are just kind of milking it in. So I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for this week as well because it should be a good week this week as well. All right, thanks for watching. Let's have a good slate, and as always, let's keep cashing.